Walking back from Mass, Father Bear examined the idea of lunch. He could hear his doctor's voice in his head urging green salad type foods. The Friday morning donuts had much more appeal. He saw Emily's back retreating up the hill. He'd just take a quick look at her work, then make the big decision about lunch. Maybe he could freeload up at the school. The cafeteria was pretty good. He grabbed a cup of coffee on the way in. The offices were empty again. It surely was a conspiracy to make him work. Or they could be outside helping with the Oktoberfest setup. That was more likely. When he got to his office, all was in order. The stacks of papers awaited his attention. The computer monitor was running through a collage of St. Timothy school photos. If he snuck away, who would know? But his boss, the Lord, was always watching. It was time to tackle the computer, see what Emily had found for him. He sat down heavily. When he went to move the mouse, he noticed a post-it note. The church should give you a flat-screen monitor, in loopy teenage girl handwriting. What a sparkle the students gave to a boring office day. He placed the note gently to the side, moved the mouse, and his browser was open to the Corp website. The logo at the top said, "We do water." Across the top of the monitor, there was a row of tabs. She must have 15 pages open. This could take some time. The first page was the standard front page of any large corporation. It said, "We are amazing," in many different ways. Corp was a large company. It looked like they did everything from aquaculture to wastewater. Father Bear had heard about the new fish farms in rural Kentucky. They were a great solution to losing your tobacco farm. When he was young, the tobacco crops put kids through college, bought out mortgages, and was the one assurance if your crop failed. That was gone forever. He also liked the idea of flush toilets, so wastewater treatment was good. But why did they have climate change policy on the front page? He clicked on the next tab. It was a YouTube video of Ed McClellan, CEO of Corp, talking about his company's role after the Thai tsunami in 2004. The man was a really good speaker. The next tab was an article about Thailand's water resources now, how the equipment was placed for permanent use, not just temporary relief. That was something Father Bear could get behind. The next tab was a different story. The headline read, 10 companies essential to fracking. Corp was 7th on the list. The next was, which stock is poised to ride the boom in fracking? Next boom name in fracking. His ears began to heat up. How could Elizabeth bring this to him without checking up on the company? How could he... Elizabeth is a woman. How could she think he'd put the name St. Timothy with a company that's applied the fracking industry? I'm going to finish out this paragraph and then reread it, just so that I can feel it in my mouth. Pope Francis just came out with Laudato Si a few months ago. Pope Francis just came out with Laudato Si just a few months. Pope Francis just came out with Laudato Si a few months ago. The Holy Father was very clear in his position on the environment. How could she just ignore it? Lunch completely forgotten, Father Bear went up the hill to do battle. The next tab was a different story. The headline read, 10 companies essential to fracking. Corp was the 7th on the list. The next was, which stock is poised to ride the boom in fracking? Next boom name in fracking. His ears began to heat up. How could Elizabeth bring this to him without checking up on the company? How could she think he'd put the name St. Timothy with a company that supplied the fracking industry? Pope Francis just came out with Laudato Si a few months ago. The Holy Father was very clear on his position on the environment. How could she just ignore it? Lunch completely forgotten, Father Bear went up the hill to do battle.